In a press conference today at the Crown Hotel, PNC party leader Peter O'Neill said this year's national general election was the worst since 1975.
This is by far the worst elections that we have held in the country since independence in 1975, or since our first elections in 1972. So I'm very surprised to see that the level of violence is increasing, despite that fact that we have had many elections in the past. We should be now used to elections, and we should accept results and accept that one has to win and many has to also lose after such a challenge and competitive election period.
He says the government failed in providing a free, fair and safe election. Meanwhile, Prime Minister James Marape says he will not rate this election as worst because different province has different say about the election.
I would not rate 2022 as the worst. Neither would I rate 2022 as success. Every elections that we've held for the last 10 elections and today 11th election has had its fair share of problems. For instance, the first time I contested in 2002, 5 electorates in Hela province were declared failed, and we had a supplementary election in 2003. So every elections have their fair share of challenges.
Mr. O'Neill says if PNC forms the next government, the election process will be the first thing they will look into.
We have made some very serious commitments when we had our convention here in Port Moresby before the elections. And the first and one of the most important ones was that we will conduct a national census immediately. This national census have been funded properly over many years, but unfortunately it hasn't taken place. Pangu government has known that there will be an election in 2022, and yet over the last 3 years did not fund the agencies of government to conduct the preparations properly. Even the funding of the Electoral Commission was done at the last minute.
Leader for Pangu Party James Marape also stated in his press conference yesterday that the election process also will be the first his government will look at.
So all these things will be reviewed in totality. Something that is sort of I'm inclined towards is a biometric voting system and a computerized electronic system, so how we could interface them.
PNC leader Mr. O'Neill says whoever forms the next government must put people first and not themselves or the party's interest. The Pangu party is set to travel to Wewak this afternoon, while PNC is stationed here in the nation's capital, awaiting PNC candidates still in the race as counting process continues. Cynthia Maku, National, EMTV News.